Welcome to tonight's service. We'll begin with prayer for peace.
Divine Creator, we ask that the light of highest awareness fill the minds and hearts of those who are open to your light. We ask that they be assisted and strengthened in their resolve to achieve peace using peaceful means. May their minds, their hearts, and their actions reflect the divine will to good for all. Comfort, strengthen, and support those who are in a difficult situation in their mind, body, or spirit. Bring confidence to them that your divine hand is at work in their life. Amen.
Good evening again, and our service tonight is presented by the Community Chapel of Holistic Healing. My name is Reverend Mary Huber, pastor currently of the organization. We were founded in 1977 by Reverend Michelle Duson, who was a mystic and channel for the multidimensional consciousness. We are celebrating pretty soon our 50th anniversary next year, and it's been an ongoing light center from this entire time. And this evening you will be have a minister from the earliest times with us to give our speech tonight. But right now we always begin with our affirmations of faith, hope, and charity, which we call for the three healers because they address all the energy systems in the body and align them. We'll begin with the faith affirmation. I believe in the spiritual existence of myself as a perfect image of the divine creator. In this reflection that is my physical embodiment, I have faith in the supreme guidance of my soul for my balance, for my needs, and my opportunities. Outside of myself, there are also perfect images, and nothing can delude my thinking otherwise. The hope affirmation. Acknowledging my faith in the omnipresence of my divinity, I hope for realization, awareness, and acknowledgement of the existence of the great I am within myself. A charity affirmation. In understanding faith and knowing hope, I pledge my actions, my desires, and my thoughts to the performances of myself on the physical planes of the earth, to honor, to love, and to enlighten all that is a reflection of the divine outside myself, so that my perfection is imaged back to my Creator. So help me God. This evening, we have a minister, as I said, who goes way, way back in the organization when Michelle first started doing our ministerial training. And Gloria has been a faithful servant of the light for so long, has been involved in many other endeavors in her life, particularly being a builder. She's very much involved with community and making sure that communities integrate and survive in a light setting. She's brought much to that end and now brings to us this evening an area that she is particularly well versed in. It is about the nature kingdoms. So we will begin with, I want to first introduce Gloria, and I believe she will begin with a meditation. Gloria?
All right. Thank you, Mary. And I'm hoping that our corgi will give us some room from barking to present the information, but that's okay. He's part of nature. I want to start this evening with a meditation to open up the energy for what we will consider and share this evening. Because in tuning together in meditation and bringing our spirits together, we also are joined by others in the light, referred sometimes to as the company of heaven, the angelic kingdom, nature intelligence, uh, the ascended masters, white brotherhood, those ancestors and spirit guides from all sorts of background, cultures, and lifetimes. We welcome them all of the light to support our intention, and our purpose this evening is to get a better understanding of our role as light workers, but in connection with partnering with nature intelligence, which is a paramount concern at this time, to help restore, to help reinforce, to help repair the role that humans have played on this planet with nature. Because we are not problem solvers, but problem makers. And so I'm going to ask Brenda, Reverend Brenda, to please take us into a meditative state so that we might have a light coning of energy and essence to support us, to inspire us, to help us deepen what we know, what we feel about what is being discussed. So thank you. Brenda, would you start this for us?
Absolutely. Thank you, Gloria. So this meditation is designed to get us in the zone, right, for the beautiful talk that we're about to receive and all of the information about these beautiful ways to raise our vibration. So let's close our eyes. Let your breath find its own rhythm. No need to control it. Just notice your breathing. You might begin to feel the surface beneath you, feeling gravity holding you gently in place, the way that roots hold a tree, held fast to the earth, grounded and supportive. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, and with each exhale, imagine a thin cord of light traveling from the base of your spine down into the earth, like roots anchoring you. Now picture yourself standing at the edge of an old forest. The air smells of moss, rain, and something sweeter underneath. They are wildflowers just beginning to open. Sunlight falls in soft green gold shafts through the canopy. Every leaf seems to hum faintly, as if the whole grove is breathing along with you. As you step forward, the ground is cool and springy under your feet, like walking across moss and memory. So, ahead at the base of a great oak tree, a small figure begins to take shape. Not quite seen, but more felt. This is an earth spirit, guardian of root and stone, patient and old as bedrock. If you're holding a quartz stone, hematite, tourmaline, or any dark stone, feel its weight. The earth spirit offers you this stone's essence, deep brown and forest green light rising from the ground through the soles of your feet, up through your legs, settling like sediment in your belly. Breathe in, I am held, and breathe out, I release what is not mine to carry. And let anything heavy, worry, fatigue, or static thoughts drain downward and dissolve into the soil where the earth spirit receives it without judgment and is able to compost it into something new. Follow that narrow path to a clear spring. A second presence shimmers, fluid silver blue, formless as the water itself. This is the water spirit, keeper of feeling and flow. Breathe in a rose or lavender scent, simply imagining the scent as it wafts into your nasal passages. The water spirit invites you to cup your hands and drink. As the water touches your lips, feel a wash of soft blue and violet light move through your chest and your throat, loosening anything stuck, unspoken words, held tears, or any old tension. Breathe in. I allow myself to feel, and breathe out. I let it move through me like a stream over a stone. If a flower essence is one of your favorites, imagine a single drop landing on your tongue. Its message is simple. Softening is safe. A breeze rises, playful, quick, and curious. The air spirit swirls around you like a small whirlwind of leaves and light, a keeper of thought, clarity, and breath. A pale yellow and white light enter through the crown of your head, clearing fog, quieting any overthinking. Breathe in. I welcome clarity, and breathe out. I release confusion. Notice how your shoulders feel now, how much space there is behind your eyes, and rest there, relaxing your forehead and your eye sockets and your temples. Finally, a warm glow appears ahead, a small flickering flame dancing without burning, playful sparks of gold and orange. This is the fire spirit, the guardian of will, courage, and vitality. Simply picture a flame of a candle in your mind's eye. Feel the warm gold and orange red light kindling in your solar plexus, just below your ribs, a small, steady fire that is entirely your own. Breathe in. I am alive with purpose. And breathe out. I release doubt. All four spirits, earth, water, air, and fire, now stand around you in a loose circle, and their colors blend into a single soft rainbow of light surrounding your whole body. Brown and green at your feet, blue and violet at your heart and throat, yellow white at your crown, gold and orange at your center. Rest here. There's no need to do anything. Just let yourself be witnessed by the grove. If you're holding a stone, oil, or essence, take one more slow breath in with it close to your body and silently thank it for lending its energy to this moment. We also thank the spirits of earth, air, fire, and water who have helped us align to receive the information from this message. Slowly, let the forest imagery begin to fade, like mist lifting. The spirits don't leave. They simply recede back into the trees, back into the water, back into the wind, and the light, always present and always reachable. Feel your body again, the chair or the floor or the couch cushion beneath you. Feel the air on your skin and the sounds of the room. You might wiggle your fingers and toes and rub your fingers together. Maybe rub up your arm, your forearms, rub your shoulders. Move your head around your neck, clockwise and counterclockwise. Take another long, slow, deep breath. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Brenda, for that journey going with him. I want to begin this evening. You see the picture of the lion that's before you. And the reason why that's there, I want to just announce that we're coming upon a very special event, astrological event that starts this month that has to do with helping us as light workers become more effective, to take advantage of some cosmic energy that's opening up what they call the Lionsgate portal opening. And it's doing this in the sign of Leo, and all of those characteristics we know about the constellation Leo and the energy that it brings. And also in conjunction with the star system Sirius, which is also part of the Orion belt up in the sky that's very, very visible at this time. And the combination of those forces, the astrological forces, angles that they are impacting the earth, the light of the portal itself, it brings to us some heightened frequencies of light that it represents wisdom and opportunity, and the heightened ability to reconnect with your soul's purpose and your personal power. So as these cosmic and astrological forces combine, it symbolizes spiritual awakening and higher consciousness and a gateway. They call it the gateway to heaven. In the Bible, Sirius was referred to as the gateway to heaven. And it is rising at this time, and it begins on August the 8th. And the number 8 is very prominent in this event. So if you just make a note of this, that it's rising and it's stimulating the heart and the third eye chakras to help us reconnect with our higher self and to increase our intuition. It lasts for about 2 weeks. And it'll enable us to reset our vibration get rid of some limiting beliefs and doubts. The energy can be felt sometimes intense, but also very uplifting if we are ready to embrace the idea of change and transformation. So the 888 sequence of numbers is used to symbolize the opening of the Lion's Gate. The 8th month, August the 8th month, the start day, 8, and the numerological configuration of 8 for the influx of abundance and prosperity. So please, take note and experience what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, beginning August 8th and going until I believe it's the 26th. Let's see, the 26th of August. So that's all I'll say about that. And now we can jump right into tonight's topic of partnering with nature to balance and raise our vibration. In 1994, Michelle Luson published her comprehensive book, her project and program called Creative Wellness that she designed. And some of us were involved in the researching of it and the implementation of it in actual with thousands of individuals who lived in public housing developments, because this program was designed and intended to help people who were not at the top of the economic scale, but who needed to be able to learn how to heal and understand how their personalities affected their health. But using what was readily available from nature, because they would not be able to afford spa resorts or the medicines that were available from laboratories and medical physicians or the Botox or things of that nature, but things right at hand, and to understand how the things that people were using in their lifestyle were also injurious, that it was helping them in creating some of the problems that they experienced health-wise. And at the same time, by changing up their lifestyle and following the therapies that she had researched and tested in the program, that they would be on the road to holistic health, meaning a healing in their mind and body and spirit, because those were the tools that were being used and presented. I have some charts that I want to present that show the glandular stone and stone relationships that she tested out at the time and that are contained in the Creative Wellness program and her book, Creative Wellness, The Power of the Personality to Heal Self. And I'm not going to be able to describe all of the principles underlying what was done. I was lucky to be one of the early participants in the program to help test out the therapies that Michelle had channeled with this and measured, tested and presented studies on the results. The from that, I'll say, if you look at these stones, they were tested not only with the principal gland, but with the secondary glandular impact. So some of them will also be stones that will show up to have thyroid and pancreas effects, thyroid and adrenal energetic effects. And to help people who were involved in the program to be able to experience what the therapies, the natural therapies, the natural supports represented, we were taught kinesiology. We were taught muscle testing. And some of us had already been involved in doing dowsing and work with the pendulum. And so those tools early on from the Creative Wellness Program and other programs, I'm going to talk about Paralandra and the work of Michelle Small-Wright, who also leaned on kinesiology to present the healing tinctures, the healing essences from the garden that she produced. So the natural supports were presented at a time when not too many of the alternative therapies were willing to say that these, if you pouch these rocks or put them close to your parts of your body, your organs, that they were going to have an effect. But that is exactly what she did. She demonstrated that, and people were amazed at the results. Some people were still skeptical, and some people were actually outright upset that this was the case, or that somebody would be presenting this kind of result, as opposed to the more sophisticated medical treatments and drug treatments for their ailments. But it has been sustained and has grown with some of the places today that sell stones and crystals also include very very sophisticated studies of the effects of the stones and the crystal treatments on helping to heal certain conditions. There was another, besides the Creative Wellness, the Blue Book that Michelle came up with. She came up with a smaller little book, a quickie book called Gem Pharmacy. And I'm not sure if it's continued to be published, but I hope that it will also be reproduced again, because this became one of the pocket books you could put in your purse, that if you went somewhere that sold gems and stones, and you knew the things that were happening in your body that you wanted to address, or in your mental awareness or your attitudinal awareness, you could identify the stones that would help support the alleviation of, much like Dr. Bach and the Bach flower remedies. That's another chart that I put together. Brenda, if you could show those pages. No, that's that. There we go. If you could see that. But I correlated the flower essences that go along with the different personality types that are presented in the creative wellness text. So I don't know how it, and they are presented singularly in the handbook, the big book, but I decided to put them all together here so people could see. You don't necessarily have to take the word of what's in print to say that this works. You can actually go ahead and test with kinesiology or pull out your pendulum and experience the validity of these treatments on your own. Underlying all of this was the intelligence of nature. That nature contained antidotes for what ailed not only humans but animals, and even plants could be treated with some of the remedies, and I still do today. My experience from creative wellness was backed up by my learning about places like Findhorn, and I was at the time had one foot in the government, one foot in the ministry, and I was assigned in the government role to study new communities. And someone gave me a book about Findhorn, and when I read it, I said, "Oh, this is amazing. People are growing food and plants and at the Arctic Circle level of the planet where things weren't supposed to grow, where sandy soil wasn't supposed to produce anything edible for people to build or develop communities around." And yet that had happened, and it happened after the war, when there was a lot of poverty in Britain and Scotland, and people were living in trailers who had experienced those kinds of poverty and hardship before. And there were three individuals who started meditating as friends together, who began to receive messages from the angelic kingdom, telling them, giving them instructions on what to do with the land that they had settled on to make it be productive. And some of them were unusual instructions, and yet in time, Finhan became a self-sufficient community agriculturally. They produced enough food to feed the people and to sell to people around itself. I went there in the 70s because I needed to see this for myself. And when I arrived at Findhorn, it was raining, snowing, lightning, and hailing all in the same day. And there were flowers growing in the snow. And that caught my attention. Beyond that, the most dramatic effects for me were the learning on the meditation processes, the attunement with nature, and nature as an intelligence, nature as a concept, consciousness that I had not heard about or ever read about back home in the States. And this was something that sort of stuck with me. When I returned home, I as nature would have it, perhaps, or as spirit would have it, God in all life have it, I met Michelle and Clarence, and I met them not in the context of Paralandra at first, but there was a Center for Creative Nonviolence that they were working at as part of the staff. She had been a journalist with the Washington Post, and he was an ex-Catholic priest, and they had found a relationship together. And she at we were at the time doing some work to collect food and clothing for the homeless. And subsequent to that, she had an opportunity to present it for her to go to Findhorn to learn and stay and do what they were doing. And she was convinced that she wanted to bring that model back to the United States. She, as a result of inheriting some land, was able to settle a site in Culpeper, Jeffersonton, Virginia, in the county of Culpeper, and begin that journey. I was a member of the little kitchen cabinet with some others who would meet from time to time. She started off in a teepee to meditate and hear from spirit how to go about what she had intended to do, and she was very clear about that. And so that went on, and she, of course, was a wonderful writer, and she began to journal and chronicle the work that she was doing and the messages that she was getting, the guidance that she was getting on what and how to do. We continued our friendship. In fact, she at one point had joined the American Metaphysical Society, as we were called back then, and the ministerial program. But she decided that she wanted to embark on totally on the guidance that she was receiving then. And of course, there's a lot of hard work involved in starting the garden that she had in mind and working the land. So she devoted herself entirely, and with Clarence and others, to produce that result. If you've ever been there, I don't know, people aren't able to go there now just to tour and do it. At one point, there was a time for that, but that had to be dispensed with. But Paralandra still operates and still produces not only the flower essences that are individual, they come in sets, but beyond that, she channeled a program called the Microbial Balancing Program. I think if I have that correct name for it, but that became another sort of a partnership with not just nature, but partnership with the ascended masters and ascended healers of the what we call the Great White Brotherhood, not Great White Racial Brotherhood like we tend to think of it here on Earth, but the White Brotherhood of those masters and teachers of the light. And this program included a method where the individuals who took part in it could be scanned by spirit, just similar to the way Michelle Mousson would scan people, have the source scan individuals who came for readings and be able to tell what was going on at the different chakra levels and the different in the different energy fields levels for help, much like Edgar Casey did. These kinds of abilities, these kinds of resources uh, are talked about when you look up AI, about what works, about what are the spiritual approaches, etc. They finally are confirming that there is a metaphysical paradigm to healing that is growing and that can include uh, reaching spirit and reaching uh, intelligence that is on another level through meditation, higher consciousness, that wasn't talked about before, but is talked about now. And in terms of the way that Michelle Wright presented what she called nature intelligence, it opens up a whole new area of what science is, and she termed it co-creative science. And that is still, there's a book on it that talks about it and how to do it. And she's an advocate for everyday individuals who are so inclined to become themselves co-creative scientists, and presents the steps that you can take to do so. I know that many people may or may not be familiar with some of the techniques, but I was mentioning to Reverend Kelly Wilk that the last time I attended one of the healing meditations where she included uh, the use of the gemstones, I think it was rose quartz and something else. And I happen to have a rose quartz on my desk when she started it, and I decided to pick it up. And as she went through it and connected up with the different kingdoms of light for meditation and to send healing to the people who were on the healers list, the rose quartz started vibrating in my hand. And I said, there's something here that we need to be doing in addition to just sending up prayers and reading the names off the list. But let's look into a greater role that can be played with nature. I also credit Paralandra with starting up the work of biodiversity, affirming biodiversity, and seeking nature's help, nature intelligence's help to further the biodiversity of plant and animal life on the planet, because that is what it will take to sustain us beyond the climate change. That is how the planet, in its origination of life, was started and continued by diversifying. And we can today, because of the work that they're doing there, participate in a monthly, I call it a monthly ritual, biodiversity ritual, using some of the essences there. And that one can feel actually the shift of energy when one does this, as you can with other things where you invoke a role for nature intelligence to be of assistance in what we're trying to do. My biggest epiphany came about when I was asked to help do a rehabilitation of an inner city housing development that had deteriorated to a large extent and became a center for crime. And the site itself was flooded all the time after a rainfall. And there were people there who probably should have been in jail. I could go on to describe the distress that Paradise Manor was in, but that through learning some of the techniques of coming in from my experience at Finhorn and also from Paralandra, that I came up with a system for doing a treatment on the housing development and the land that it was situated on, that I called soil balancing and soil crystal reflexology. We used flower essences and other essences. We used models, soil models, individualized for 15 different buildings that we were incorporating. And I won't go into all of the details of the success, but there was an enormous transformation able to take place because of the cooperation and the collaboration to move certain energetic obstacles out of the way that led to over 670 apartments in the complex being renovated, new energy systems, and construction. We don't have time tonight to go into all of that, but if we have questions, once I finish describing a little of that, I will attempt to point some things out, some additional things out. It was all about the title, but behaving as if God and all life mattered, and the creative science that went along with that. Not just for gardens that you grow vegetables and fruits in, but for what was called soil-less garden, which was the project in housing construction and rehabilitation that I was involved in with Paradise Manor. I even enlisted the property managers to help me collect the soil samples for each of the buildings and then treat those off-site with the help of invoking nature and going into attunement with nature intelligence for the shifts that were needed to occur. Energy cleansing and other processes she talks about in the earlier stages of writing about the garden workbooks, and those are all still available and people can get a hold of them. But my conclusion, my belief is that if we learn how to set up a partnership, spiritual, physical partnership with nature, that it can do much in the way of producing results and solutions to problems in ways that people would not imagine, with shifts in resistance to taking steps that were needed, because we were also working on the emotional level, the collective body of a community, to achieve what was going to be for the highest and greatest good of those involved. I guess I'll stop talking about the sites and what we were doing there. But what is nature intelligence? You ask. What is nature intelligence? Nature is in control of, in control. Nature has to do with everything that is the order of life on earth, the order of physical life, the organizing principle of physical life on earth, its organization, and to the greatest extent, all of the life vitality of the forms that are part of nature. When I say life vitality, the life force that's in everything. That is a huge dynamic that nature, what we mean by nature, includes. It's not nature, Mother Nature, personality that Gaia has and sprinkles here and there. No, this is a reality. Maybe I should stop here for a moment and simply ask: are there any questions at this point that any of you have to ask or want to bring up, or have any similar experiences with pursuing a partnership that can be felt from a spiritual standpoint with nature intelligence? Any one of you listening? Well, I'm not sure. Are you still listening?
Of course.
Definitely.
No questions, particularly right now.
No questions. So how about comments? I know that Carolyn worked at Paralandra for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not, if you want to share a little bit of.
It was an amazing experience. I mean, I can't just say a couple of words. I mean, it would take a whole talk about it. Anyway, it was working with nature. It changes the way you look at reality.
And I came back that way from Scotland. It was really hard for me to be integrated back into the role that was my job at the government at that point. And yet, I also was dismayed at the fact that how much would it take for the change in consciousness of people to be able to experience nature intelligence in the ways that people were living and having as lifestyles and ways of going about raising children, educating children, growing food, and stuff like that. I long for the time to be able to teach my children, grandchildren, about the life that is talked about as the fairies and the nature spirits and so forth. I mean, you have to do it. You have to be in it to understand. But there is a way. There is a way, I think, to teach people about soil crystal reflexology, about soil balancing. But at the front end of all of the learning, it takes a faith, a belief in other reality, and a trust in your own higher self, in your own higher spirit that goes hand in hand with being a light worker. And that this is all part of the light work incoming as we make this sort of shift from third dimension to fourth dimension to fifth dimension, that these kinds of ideas, these kinds of knowledge will open up along with the faculties, the spiritual faculties of people to perceive these other realities, these other forms of life on earth, not just as physical beings, but as living, evolving souls. But it's coming. It's coming. The work of, thank you, Carolyn, for that. The work of Dr. David Hawkins comes to mind. I don't know how many of you know of Dr. David Hawkins. Anybody else?
Only through you, but Glory, only through you.
Only three? You, Mary, know about him?
Yeah, I've heard some of his stuff. Yeah.
Okay. He used to have one of the largest psychiatric clinics in the United States, and as a physician. And he, over the years, also undertook learning, doing his spiritual development on himself. His Kundalini opened up, and he became enlightened. And from that enlightenment and from that experience that he had, clinics all over the country, he was able to take the work that he did as a physician with the mentally ill and to come up with a scale, what he called a map of consciousness, in which he was able to show how we could raise our consciousness and what was associated with lower consciousness that produced mental states that were healthy or unhealthy. And he was able to calibrate those states logarithmically. And he had thousands of case studies, thousands of tests that he rendered using his clinics and having them done by people who really weren't, metaphysical, but who were following his instructions on how to document this, to show what the effects of these different attitudes, these different emotions would have on the consciousness, from despair and hate, guilt, and so forth, as the lower types of lower consciousness, to all the way up the ladder to enlightenment, that you could gauge the levels by using a pendulum or muscle testing. And so that deserves to be understood. That deserves to be learned because, again, these are things that are inherent in us as our intuition, in our energy fields, able to be tested out in real life, so that when we talk about the optimists living longer, it's because their attitudes are different. Um, it makes sense to associate with happy people because their energy fields are going to spill off and help affect you uh, in maintaining your balance. You know, people talk about today with all this negativity coming over the airwaves from the media and from everywhere you turn. People are talking about the dire states that the world is in, or all of the death and uh, destruction that is focused upon. How do we protect ourselves? How do we sustain ourselves in the midst of all that? We can use a tool like this to show how we can shift from the lower levels of consciousness to the higher. And we can also synthesize what we know about nature intelligence using remedies, using other therapies, alternative therapies, energy therapies, as we go along, and make it even more effective. Well, let me see, how far are we into this? I guess I better start wrapping up a bit. I do want to suggest that the if you haven't read it already, get Creative Wellness and see if you can try it on yourself or your friends. Get Behaving as if God in all life mattered, and the book, which might be a little challenging, called Co-Creative Science by Michelle Wright. Uh, if you like gardening, get the garden books and try some of the remedies. And the other processes such as energy cleansing. Everybody can do energy cleansing in their own home or where they live or where they work, and change the atmosphere, shift the energy in those places as is needed, because we dwell in environments that with contaminated water, contaminated air, and pollution. But it also means that we also can synthesize and incorporate what we began at the American Metaphysical Society and CCWH, the three healers and the other affirmations, to experience, to open ourselves up to experience these shifts and the heightening of our own consciousness. I like tuning in sometimes to what the young people are doing. I never thought I would sit there and say the young people are doing. I'm a grandmother of 8 and a great grandmother of 7, and they always amaze me at how they can just spout stuff that took some of us a long time to learn. And I'll just point out to you an article by 2 of them. One is Melissa Fake. She has a little manuscript you can download called 5 Ways. Let me see if I can show it. How to raise 5 ways to raise your vibration now. 5 ways to raise your vibration now, from taking the mindset or position of being the observer instead of reacting to situations that occur that might be upsetting, to practice meditation, to seek to be in a state of joy, because joy is very powerful, how to clear your own energy. And Melissa is a Akashic Records reader. She teaches people how to read the Akashic Records as well. And her name is spelled Melissa, Feick. Another young lady, and she's even younger, she's a musician. Her name is Carrie Cole. And she wrote an article, it's still very popular, back in 2021, called 38 Ways to Raise Your Frequency and Reach a Higher Level of Consciousness. And she talks about Dr. Hawkins, David Hawkins, and the map of consciousness and how to use it. And she's also a musician. And so she's got a beautiful website where she talks about helping spread light through music and who's involved. She also teaches voice. I also, let's see, told you about David Hawkins. Patricia Cota Robles, is any of you familiar with her work? She's a cosmic channeler.
Yes.
Okay, I know Mary, you're familiar with her. Anyone else? And she's available. You can go and find her work very easily. The books that she's written that I really like, it's called, it's one of her simpler books. Who am I and why am I here? Who am I and why am I here? Covers, she spent several years being a marriage counselor and became this amazing channel of the some people call it the cosmic or the spiritual hierarchy that is in tune with the divine plan for the earth as a whole. And if you've ever heard one of her blogs, she calls it a video blog, or participates in us chanting her affirmations. They also conduct a lot of energy for raising your vibration. I've gone to at least two of the conferences, the international conferences that she's held, where thousands of people gather, and you can feel the energy in the place, taking you to another whole dimension, another whole plane yourself. And they are tracking the progress of moving from the third and the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension. And what does that mean? What do things like, frequency and vibration, how do you apply that to everyday life? And I'll probably stop right here because I may have covered many of the subjects that I had hoped to do. And I'll stop here and see if there's any comment people want to make, or questions. Anyone?
I would just say I don't have a question, but I certainly think that this work is it's a lifetime's worth of work. It's a deep and incredible subject to explore. And if you just put your toe in and get started, you're doing some benefit to the world, even if you don't master everything.
If you just go into the woods or go to a lake and sit down and watch the birds come in, nature can speak to you.
Yes.
Or go into the forest and hug a tree. or what the Japanese do. They call it forest bathing.
Yeah.
Forest bathing. I mean, it will make you feel different. It will open you up. Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, I was really lucky as a child to be able to just wander barefoot through the woods behind my house. And, I always enjoyed being out there, especially in the pine grove by the ponds where the arbutus grew, where the horsetails, grew. It was just, so valuable to have that time from our very, crowded house. And right now, I always go out and I see a flower and I say, "You're doing such a good job." And, I talk to the hawk who came by tonight and said, "Oh, you caused all
Mhm.
these other birds to fly." Yeah, just, interact a bit.
And the reality is that you are communicating with them
Yes.
and they with you. You're responsible for me getting out and seeing the birds and discovering the red-winged blackbirds out here where I've moved to, which
Mhm.
are gorgeous. So thank you for that, Elizabeth.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we have them over here too. And of course, we always had them where we were growing up because it was down by the river. They would just be so happy.
And the great blue herons that are out in Virginia.
Yes, they're so impressive and dinosaur-like.
Okay, did we lose Kelly?
Yeah, she had to leave.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah,
Okay,
she put a little message in the chat, the type chat.
okay. Brenda, did you have any comments? No, we lost her too.
I'm here. I did not have any comments though. Thank you.
Okay, or questions. Okay, it is a life's work. It is a life-changing experience when you realize that behind the curtain of everyday reality shown by the media, there is much more to life than we realize. Okay, well, thank you for letting me babble. I I find in little ways every day to live more in line with these truisms and to be able to link together uh, being a light worker and spreading the light through partnerships with nature. We out here in Prince George's County, we compost, and the county has given everybody compost bins and collects the compost just like they do the garbage. And there are other things that are happening. People are, their awareness is growing. Um, the awareness about what are they, the data centers and
Yes.
the downside of the data centers is all part of this journey of balancing nature as we experience it and bringing it to a better place, then bringing our environment to a better place. Okay, thank you so much. Uh, Thank you, Mary, for asking me. And I will remind you, we're going to have angel card readings next Friday.
Oh,
Okay, it's the fifth Friday, so do not forget. I have a new deck I'm very excited about. It's by Kyle Gray, and it's called, let's see, it's called the Gateway of Light Activation. Very special. So if you can join us next Friday and get a card reading from the Gateway of Light Oracle.
Well, you'll all be getting your invitation to attend, so stay tuned. And thank you very much, Gloria, for all of your wonderful insights and information. I This is a time when we ask for you go to the website. And when you go there, you will get more information about our activities and what we do, the different programs we have, and the list of all of our past chapels as well. This one will appear in a couple of days on the website when I post it over the weekend. So you also might visit our PayPal button and contribute if you can to our organization to keep us all moving along and as light workers that we need to do in these days. And in anticipation of your gift, I'd like to do the offering prayer. Father, Mother God, you are the giver of every good and grateful, perfect gift. Give us grateful hearts that we may share freely with others all you have given us. Amen. And now, in memory of all of our time and decades that we met in person, we joined a circle. And so join etherically and take each other's hand and sing "Let There Be Peace on Earth" with our own particular words that we have put to it.